No one will ever forget Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction at the 2004 Super Bowl halftime show. Or the time the Black Eyed Peas decided to wear light-up robot suits in 2011. Here are the 10 worst Super Bowl halftime shows of all time. Let's start with the Black Eyed Peas in 2011. Remember that Super Bowl halftime show? Yeah, it's widely regarded as, well, the worst. When you were watching it live, you couldn't help but feel like you accidentally witnessed something absolutely insane. The Black Eyed Peas were there, all decked out in light-up robot suits. Whoa, who decided the Super Bowl was gonna be a science fair? Then they decided to give their rendition of "I've Had the Time of My Life." Not so cool. Followed by Usher and Slash coming in, which made the whole thing even worse. Interestingly, this was the same Super Bowl where Christina Aguilera had her memorable interpretation of the national anthem. So yeah, it was a tough day for music. And for Steelers fans too. If you thought that was crazy, let's get right into the most famously messy halftime show ever. Yep, we're talking about that infamous 2004 halftime show with Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, and a few others. Ooh yes, it's that time Janet accidentally flashed America. This iconic moment not only dented Janet Jackson's stellar career, which had thrived for nearly 2 decades, but also sent Justin Timberlake's post-NSYNC popularity on a roller coaster ride. It took him 2 years and the magic touch of Timbaland to regain his mojo. While the music was on point, the aftermath was toxic. The Bush administration, notably Colin Powell's son at the FCC, led a frenzied campaign against MTV and Miss Jackson. This controversy marked MTV's exit from the music business, and overall, it was a disastrous chapter in America's history. Oh, and let's not forget that Jessica Simpson was a part of this show too. That didn't stop Justin from trying again, though. In 2018, Justin Timberlake returned to the Super Bowl, revisiting the very stage where the infamous wardrobe malfunction had rocked Janet Jackson's career 14 years earlier. Surprisingly, JT kept it quite simple this time around. There was no NSYNC reunion, no quick Janet rematch, no Britney Spears twirl during Cry Me a River. Not even a cameo by his longtime collaborator Timbaland for Sexy Back. Justin was in promotion mode for his new album, Man of the Woods. He decided to go for a performance that aimed to please in the most unassuming way possible. The standout moment was a brief video duet with the late Prince on I Would Die For You. However, by the time he wrapped up with Can't Stop the Feeling, not even Prince himself could have saved the overall dullness of the show. Speaking of completely boring performances, let's try to forget Shania Twain's performance in 2003, shall we? It was a performance that left much to be desired and felt like a deep freeze for her career. You know it's not going well when the camera starts zooming in on the guitar player. However, the saviors of the show were none other than Sting and Gwen Stefani. Their dynamic duo act was nothing short of adorable, especially when they brought their tantric harmonizing to Message in a Bottle. Gwen, in particular, shone brightly in her role, energizing the hometown SoCal crowd with her all-American enthusiasm. She even surprised everyone by breaking into push-ups during her rendition of the feminist anthem, Just a Girl. It's a wonder they didn't beg her to come back and do it all over again. And let's not forget the bonus points for Chris Berman's punchline, "The Sting has been on the Raiders' offense." Next up, we've got The Weeknd in 2021. In the midst of the first pandemic Super Bowl, Abel Tesfaye embraced the socially distanced limitations. He went all in, going solo without any guest appearances or duets, in a stadium that was only half full. The energy level started a bit low, but the flashy set design matched the eerie atmosphere of Can't Feel My Face, especially when he found himself surrounded by robot mummy dancers with peculiar facial bandages. Things picked up around the 11-minute mark with a weird rendition of Susie and the Banshees' Happy House. So that was probably the most goth Super Bowl moment ever. But it definitely wasn't crazier than this next one. Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers in 2014. Bruno Mars was a daring choice. Some questioned whether he had enough material to fill the halftime slot. However, he quickly silenced the doubters with an impressive drum solo. He paid homage to the Motown Revue halftime shows of the 90s with his classic R&B moves, sporting a Jackie Wilson-esque quiff, a James Brown suit, and reviving the Isley Brothers' shout. Then, he handed the stage over to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who didn't surprise anyone by jumping around shirtless and delivering one of their biggest hits. This next band didn't deliver any hits though. Let's look at how Maroon 5's halftime show went down in 2019. Alright, let's break this down. Big Boy is cool. SpongeBob SquarePants is cool. Travis Scott has some good songs. But when you see so many outside influences being incorporated, it gives you a sense of just how boring the Los Angeles-based band's performance was. Some halftime shows are a mix of strange and boring because everyone performing is way too old. Let's look at Paul McCartney's Ultimate Boomer halftime show in 2005. In an effort to steer the halftime show away from what they deemed as a trend toward raciness and immortality, the NFL brought in the most uncontroversial performer they could find. McCartney strolled through a laid-back tour of Beatles and solo hits, kicking off an era of boomer legends like the Stones, Bruce Springsteen, and Tom Petty, who held the line with safe, family-friendly classic rock until the end of the decade. Speaking of timeless classics, there was also Stevie Wonder at the 2019 halftime show. In Miami, Stevie Wonder graced us with a big collection of classics, generously giving the local legend Gloria Estefan a well-deserved second shot at Super Bowl glory. Sir Duke was his tribute to Duke Ellington on what would have been his 100th birthday. For the grand finale, Stevie donned a jacket with African down one sleeve and American down the other, making a powerful statement. Gloria then turned up the heat with some salsa percussion for her Miami fans. And let's not forget the cameo from the swing revivalist Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, a reminder of how wonderfully weird the 90s were. Finally, we've got another old performer who was only badly received because the game had gone so badly. Tom Petty in 2008. Tom Brady and the Heartbreakers. Tom Petty. Well, as Petty himself would say, even the losers get lucky sometimes, which rings true as the Giants secured a Super Bowl victory with an unforgettable helmet catch. Petty, in his element, delivered an excellent set. He was the kind of star who truly understood the occasion and knew his role. Starting with American Girl as the opening song was a perfect choice. There's no fault in his halftime performance whatsoever, but it gets a slight deduction for happening in the middle of what's often regarded as one of the most heartbreaking Super Bowls ever. It's not Petty's fault, but all Patriots fans can attest that life can be cruel sometimes.